don't pay attention to my mic, just pay attention to what I'm about to say tonight. Because if you pay attention to what I am about to say tonight, then in this new week, and you apply everything which I am about to say, then you are going to see a significant changes in this new week. So what I'm about to say tonight is basically focus on what I called elements of trading. Element of trading basically are those, are those key things that you need to know or you need to master. And if you can master or know all these elements, then it will be easy for you to trade, because irrespective of the strategy which you are using, be it SMC strategy, ICT strategy, you will still find all these elements. And it is your duty as a trader to perfect the act of trading based on these elements. And what are these elements? The number one of the element happens to be you understanding the trend, which in some strategy like SMC, they will call it order flow. So you need to understand where the river is flowing to. Is the river flowing towards the upside, or is the river flowing towards the downside? So your ability to be able to know where the river is flowing to would make trading simple. Do not let anyone deceive you. Trading is very simple. Quite alright, I may have said it in my last video that trading is hard, but at the same time, trading is very simple. If you can master each of these elements, your understanding of this element would make trading simple. And just like I have said, the first element is for you to know where the river is flowing towards. When you open a price chart, just like you can see on my screen here, when you open a price chart like this, the first thing you want to know is where is this river flowing to? And that is first element. So in order for you to give an answer to this first element, you need to understand what the second element is. The second element happens to be what will give you an answer to your first element. It is market structure that would explain to you or expatiate where the flow of the river is flowing towards. So whenever you open a price chart like this and you ask yourself based on the element of trading that where is this river, where is it flowing towards? So in order to answer that, element number 2, which happens to be market structure, would provide an answer to your element number 1. So, and that's the reason why you need to try as much as possible to master market structure. Market structure is key if you want to trade profitable. Regardless of your strategy, market structure is key. And that's the reason why I say to you that trading is very simple if you can master all these elements. The third element now will now be you marking out your point of interest, basically. So now you know that the flow of the river is basically flowing towards, let's say, the downside. So you identify the first element. The second element is interpreting that flow of the river using market structure. Now, when you now understand that the flow of the river is going towards the downside, you want to see how that flow of river is moving. And if it is flowing towards the downside, you want to see a clear lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs consecutively. And that happens to be the market structure. So now when you now have your element number 1 sorted, your element number 2 sorted, your element number 3, which I call your point of interest, you will now have a particular place within the structure which you will mark out as your area of interest. That is your element number 3. So your element number 3 is a point where you want to join the flow of the river. Because it is always advisable that whenever the river is flowing, let's say towards the downside, you as a trader, you should look for opportunity to also go in the direction of the flow of the river. A good example is probably maybe when you go to the beach or when you go to the river or stream to swim. Even if you do not know how to swim, but you are trying to swim in the direction of the flow of that river, you will just see that you will swim effortlessly. But when you are trying to swim against the flow, which is if the water is flowing towards the downside and you want to swim towards the upside, you will see that you will always struggle. So knowing that your element number 1 is trend, your element number 2 is for you to figure out the structure that makes up the element number 1. And after you have identified your element number 1 and element number 2, then you will now have a point where you want to join that flow of the river. So, and that is where we will now head to the 4th element. After identifying a point where you want to join the flow of the river, you will now bring out your element number 4, which happens to be patience. So patience in the sense that you need to wait for, let's say, the river to flow to your point of interest before you do anything. So element number 4 is patience. So when you apply more patience for price to come to your point of interest, then element number 5 will now come in. Element number 5 is executing at your point of interest. So element number 5 is executing at your point of interest. And element number 6 will now be after you have execute, or your execution rather should be based on proper risk management. So now your first element is identifying the trend, your second element is the structure, your third element is your POI, your fourth element is your patience for price to come to your POI, and your fifth element is your execution when price comes to your POI, and your sixth element is your execution should be based on risk management. So these are the elements you need to follow, or these are the routine you need to always follow whenever you are trying to trade, be it in the forex market or in the crypto market. And you need to always repeat this cycle. You need to always repeat this cycle. That you have an entry does not mean that you should risk everything once and for all. Always ensure to enter your trade based on proper risk management. And if you can apply all these things, believe me, at least you are going to have a better edge in the market. And don't forget, always risk what you know you can afford to lose whenever you are trading. And that is the end of the video. At this point of the video, I would like to say thank you for your time. Do well to subscribe. Do well to comment your opinion. And also, if you find value for the video, for all my explanation, kindly share to your loved ones. And I wish you the very best in your trading career. and see you in my other video. Peace out.